Welcome and good evening. Welcome to Foxborough's Conservation Commission meeting of May 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, Foxborough. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. I'll open the meeting. Do we have any public comments? If not, I'll turn the meeting over to Diana for the reorganization of the board. We have chair, vice chair, clerk, liaisons to the rec, to the NRRC, and I would like to also have a liaison to the Friends of Conservation and try to get that going. So Diana, you're on.
Okay, so being the first meeting in May, we have to do our traditional reorganization. So first up, you need a nomination for chair. I can't make it, I can just guide it. So somebody needs to make a nomination for a chairman, Bob or anybody else who wants it.
I'll nominate Bob Bodie for chair.
I'll second.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
Here he comes.
Just in time.
Perfect timing, Jim.
Was that
All
a
right.
vote?
Bob is the chairman again, so we are on to vice chair. We need a nomination for a vice chairman.
I'd like to nominate Jim Marsh for vice chair.
I'll accept that nomination.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, then you need a clerk. Need a nomination for a clerk.
I'd like to nominate Rebecca Kelly.
I'll accept that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so that takes care of the officers. Then we need some liaisons. So the first one we have is the NRRC.
I'd like to nominate David Packer.
Yes. That's like,
All right, so you need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, then you need the Board of Recreation. Need a,
I'd like to nominate Richard Galemi, yeah, sorry.
all right, so you need a second.
Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one is the Friends of Conservation. I don't really know if they have meetings or not, but I guess you would.
I'll nominate Tanya for that, to be the liaison.
I'll second that. She accepts.
Okay,
I'll accept.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so you got everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't have to rearrange it too much.
And I hope I continue keeping everybody happy. At being 7:05, we have a request from 14 Jennifer Lane.
Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public meeting Monday, May 20th, 2024 at 7:05 in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom, on a request for determination for the applicability filed by Stephanie Aceto to cut down 4 large pine trees at 14 Jennifer Lane, Assessors Map 069, Parcel 011, within 100 feet of a wetland resource area. This application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. This notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspaper Publishers Association website.
You want to come up and use the mic?
So we have 4 large pine trees on,
Could you get a little bit closer to the mic? Okay, thank
how's
you.
this, better? We have 4 large pine trees to the east of our property, which borders, looks like a marsh. We have concern with the trees. We've moved into the house in 2021. We've had an incident with a tree falling and damaging something every single year we've lived there. Most recent, we had a large pine on the other side of our property. Fall came within 4 inches of hitting the house, so we got lucky. And it turns out the entire internal of that tree was completely rotted and hollow, which you wouldn't know by looking at it. It looked completely fine. The concern on the other side of the home is that's where we have all of our utilities. So we have a 50-gallon propane tank on that side of the house, a fireplace, the oil vent, and that's where we vent out any carbon monoxide from the oil burner. It vents up through the fireplace. So the concern is, one, if the trees were to fall, potentially hit the propane tank, that's a huge safety issue. The second concern is that's where our family room is, so that's where we spend the most amount of time in the home. If a tree were to fall or a large limb were to fall, it could potentially come crashing through the roof and cause damage to people, pets inside the home. So that's the primary concern that we have, just based on our experience living there at the property so far. With the 3 incidents that we've had, other incidents we've had is we've had a limb come down on the other side of the home, and it went right through the electric box for our septic system and punctured the junction box with live wires. So that wasn't fun to fix. So another safety issue there. And then we've actually had a tree hit the house in 2021 on the back side of the home, damaging the gutter and some of the siding. So just overall, just general concern with the proximity of how close the trees are to the house and with the number of incidents that we've had.
Okay. Do you plan to just cut them flush or,
Yeah,
okay, not going to grind the stumps or anything?
no.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Anybody see these, or
Yeah, I was out there. Yeah. And I think John was out there as well.
are they dead, or are they?
No, they're alive.
They're healthy,
But they're big and they're
close.
close.
Well, having lost 7 in the last 4 years of 70-foot pines in my house, I can understand your concern.
It's been a little scary with the amount of water we've gotten to with
Yes.
soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once one goes, they all start to.
So are these within the 100-foot buffer zone?
Yeah, they're within the 100 feet of the wetlands, yeah.
And you said they were all pines?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot more trees on that side. We're just taking the pines.
I have a question around that for the 100-foot buffer zone, just because I'm not a law expert. Is that from our property line, or is that from where
From the
marsh?
wetlands, from where the wetlands end or start 100 feet from the edge of the wetlands,
Okay, so
is
it'd
the
be from like
buffer
that
zone.
start of the marsh?
from the marsh.
Okay, okay.
Is it from the proper, like where our property line abuts the
Property line has nothing to do
Okay.
with it. It's the wetlands, where the wetlands are.
Okay, thank you.
And the wetlands are determined by plants and upper story trees and also the soils, type of soils. So just where you see the marsh end doesn't mean that's where the wetlands end.
Okay.
And then from there, you have that 100-foot buffer that any activity in there is subject to a local Concom review.
Okay.
Which is the reason why they filed, so. Any other questions, comments? Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the request to cut down the 4 large pine trees at 14 Jennifer Lane. Excuse me.
You want to do it negative?
Oh, negative determination, sorry.
And negative is good for you, by the way.
Okay.
Map 069, parcel 011.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. So we'll get the paperwork out to you, so.
Okay.
you-
And just a question, because we do have some other trees that may or may not be in the area. I didn't know the law, so like, I
Okay.
don't know like how close or far away. I'm assuming we would just do this again with the forum and come and
Yes, yep,
have you guys come check it out.
yeah, that would be ideal.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think what might be useful is if John had a little bit of time and met with them at their site and shows them basically what that wetlands is.
Yeah.
And
That
then you
would
get a
be-
rough
That would be
idea,
very helpful.
you know, what's the buffer zone.
That would be incredibly helpful. It's really difficult trying to navigate the laws and understand what's marked as what with the marshland.
John's out on vacation this week, so I'll tell him when he gets back.
Yeah,
That's good. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much.
okay.
Take care.
I see Mr. Lewis here. You want to discuss the Neponset Reservoir weed control, sir?
Yes.
Come on up, use the microphone, please.
Get your way.
So I understand from the vote, Dave, that you're now our liaison? Okay, I'll need your email address. We do a Zoom call.
Got a problem with that. I was trying to get it fixed.
They meet on Zoom, Dave.
Oh, yeah, we meet on Zoom.
Well, that's even a bigger problem.
I can fill in until he, are you planning on getting a computer, a new email, or?
Kathy's working on it.
Ah.
But I don't think we even use Zoom. That's another problem.
Okay,
It's easy, it's not.
It's
As long as
easy.
you got a computer and,
If you have an internet, you can just click on a link.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, even I can do it, David.
You guys say it's easy.
Just a couple clicks away, anyhow. Maybe all of you received, maybe not, if you don't have an email. The report from Water Resources, Inc., that's Ken Wagner. And he and one of the representatives, Colin, from Water and Wetland, went out and did a survey of the reservoir as it stands, and this is attached into the report. And I don't know if you can see this very well from where you are, but you should have received this. But they have over 200 points that they checked for invasive species of plants, and mostly that we're concerned with is fanwort and variable milfoil. We did have a very strong population, I guess is the best word to have it, infestation, a lot of growth of pondweed in the northwest cove up in this area, to the point you couldn't get even a kayak or a canoe through it. I mean, it was really
Already?
super thick.
Already?
No, not already. The last year.
Oh, from last, okay, all right.
Well, sorry, I jumped ahead there. But anyhow, last year, so they've mapped out areas that they recommend treatment for the invasive species, and there's one area that's also listed, both invasive species, and they designated MH, which I'm not sure what that designation is, but I think that's the pondweed. So they'll be using diquat, which is also called clipper, and they have it all squared away on this thing as how much and what it would be, how many acres would be treating what plants. So it's a relatively minor compared to other years. We've done the whole reservoir at one shot, but this is relatively minor compared to other years for the amount of area that's being treated and what they found out there. So it's basically was good news from our perspective. So that the chemical they used in the eastern portion of the reservoir to kill off the, again, I'm not sure which of the two invasive species they used it for, was very successful, and almost nothing came back from in that area. What's over there now is the, what do they call it, CC, fanwort. So the fanwort is about 58 acres, and the variable milfoil was found in about 38 acres. 32 of it also had fanwort, so there's overlap of those two. And then, like I said, they had what they call the big leaf pondweed up in that northwest basin. So trying to control that. Again, what we apply for that does not kill it. It just stunts its growth. So it slows down its growth in those areas. So it's not that it'll be gone, it'll just be less of it,
Okay.
so.
Was it
Keeps
one, was it one of the herbicides you don't have to do it every year?
Yeah, the,
You're not doing as much as you normally would do if you had.
no, this is a lot less than what we usually do. But the clipper is the one that we use every year, but which is also called Diquat. But they don't have listed here what the other chemical was that we used last year, and that was in that eastern basin, and we didn't see a recovery of the one plant that we're going after there. But it's very specific to that one, not the vanwort, but the variable milfoil. It's very specific to that one, but it's very effective, and it usually, once it kills it for several years.
Yeah.
So wish we had something like that that would deal with both of them, but we don't. So,
It's interesting how the different plants react to different.
yeah.
You would
The
think that one treatment would do everything, but
I know. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. In a way, it's good that the formulation's that specific. That goes after those specific plants, but at the same time, also, I wish you had a little bit more, a little wider use that you could apply some of these things, so you wouldn't have to go back year after year after year. So. They would be posting the shoreline with notices about use and that they're going to be doing the treatment. And I would be getting a posting from them that what I'd put in the Foxborough Reporter if I time it right, or the Sun Chronicle at a minimum in their notices. So.
right. And when do you anticipate this to start?
First or second week of June.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a firm date from
When is Founder's
Water
Day?
and Wetland yet.
When is Founder's Day?
June 8th.
I mean, it'd be great to not coincide with Founder's Day, right?
Right. We would not want to coincide with Founder's Day.
You said
So-
first or second, I'm like,
Yeah, no, it's not the first or second, but I mean, in the weeks.
okay.
So it's either first week or second week, and I'll June 8th.
June 9th is
So the
fishing
9th,
derby.
that's- yeah.
Oh, okay, no, we don't want to do that either. That would be the June, that 9th is the weekend, right? Well, the 8th and 9th are both weekends. So it would not be those days anyhow. The treatment that they're doing is very limited, and I believe you can use the water, drink the water, whatever with it, within 24 hours. So it's a pretty short period of time. The area that they do have one treatment area that's between Blueberry Island and the dam for, I have to keep on looking back at this thing, the fanwort. They did find fanwort in that area between Blueberry Island and the dam. So that's the only area that would coincide with the fishing derby. The rest of the areas are all pretty remote from there. So,
Okay, we don't want to have any conflicts
no.
with the fishing derby, that's for sure.
No. So we would avoid that weekend and keep it well away from that. So it'd either be around the first of the month, which I don't know, I haven't heard from them yet, what their time frame is that they have available. They usually give me 2 dates, one being a rain date, so. But I think they're looking at later in the month, so I think it'd be after that weekend.
Rich, you've been following this.
Yeah.
You-
No, we're using less and less chemicals by
Yeah,
what they've done, and they're targeting everything specifically, so.
okay. Any other questions, comments?
Any more progress on the floating islands? and
Yes.
That review?
Yes, that's, yeah, I can address that too. Ken Wagner has gone out and he took 10 cores from the area, about a 4-acre area where we'd seen those floating islands. And what we speculated is that it was methane buildup down in the sediments from decomposing methane, or not decomposing methane, decomposing plants and peat.
Yeah.
Because there's a 2 to 3 inch layer of muck over the top of that area, which isn't allowing that gas to just escape. And when he took the cores, he said it was like releasing all kinds of gases and bubbles and stuff all started coming up. And he also tried to push down to the bottom of that area and said that he went down 20 feet and didn't hit the bottom of the peat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a big accumulation in that area of the reservoir where these things, what it does is that if it gets hot enough and we had, not that much rain and like last summer, we didn't have any islands, but other summers, we've had them multiple summers in a row where we've had more heat and it just warms up and all of a sudden these things are popping up all over the place. The birds love to congregate on them. There's really no vegetation on them. There's no stumps, no trees, just muck. So
if you got all that muck out, you'd have a very deep reservoir.
well, the plan right now is that we're going to submit the sampling that we've done to the state to try to get a permit to dredge out 2 feet of material. Thinking that if we take out 2 feet, they'll blend it. They did find cadmium, no surprise there, in the sediments. I have not heard back from Ken if he thinks that it's high enough. He said cadmium, lead, and aluminum were the 3 metals that popped up. But he didn't think any of them were above the toxicity levels. Because it's a blended sample over that zone. And what we suspect is from the earlier sampling that Schneider and Invensis and so forth had done is that it's probably all concentrated in that top 2 or 3 inch muck layer. And the fact that we're compositing the top 2 feet and having the analysis done on that is probably the reason why we're not getting any excess numbers. So the closest number we saw individual sample from the 2004, I can't remember which year it was that they did the last sampling in that 5-year sampling program.
Oh, yeah.
But the last year they did it about 500, 600 feet away. They had 2,000 parts per million in that top few inches from that sampling. That was the only thing we had to go by that was nearby, but it was like 500 feet from where we're currently proposing to do this. So we'll see what the state has to say about the whole thing. The regional state reps said that they'd be back in touch with us and help us, and we've not heard a thing from them for over a year. So they've been totally silent. I've made numerous calls to both the case manager and to the regional director and have not heard anything back from them whatsoever. So, but the people in Boston that are in charge of the dredging program and so forth have been very responsive, been very good. They commented on Ken Wagner's sampling plan right away, got us back approval on that. Well, comments, then approval, and then so I'm expecting that they'll turn around his recommendation or whatever he comes up with for doing this. Right now, he's in either Portugal or Spain. Doing some wine tasting, but he's enjoying life. Yeah, yeah. So, but when he gets back, we'll be proceeding on that, and we'll keep you posted on that.
Good.
But that's really our 2 activities this year: is the seeing if we can get the dredging program approved, on in a pretty limited area, but just to get rid of the floating island issue, because that's really a hazard. If I don't know if any of you kayak or canoe out there, but when those things pop up, you can't even canoe over them and stuff. You're just going into muck, and we just don't want boats trying to zoom around. They are jet skis and boats that do zoom around out there, and that they could cause some damage.
Yeah. Now, what would you do? Put a floating barge out there to do the dredging?
Right, it would be a floating barge, and then they'd take the top 2 feet off, and that would be it. And then we'd stockpile that and let it drain, and then find a suitable disposal location for it.
Okay.
It wouldn't stay in the reservoir. It would be shipped off site.
For stockpiling, it would be shipped off as well?
No, we'll probably. We haven't really thought through as to where we would stockpile that. They have these, what they call bag filters, but they're big bags that you can pump water and silt and so forth into, and they just sit there and they drain over a period of time, and then when they get dry enough and drain enough, then you've got your sediment that you have to get rid of. And we'll have to retest that also to confirm that it's suitable for disposal and where can we take it. There are a couple landfills in Rhode Island that are still active. I don't think there's anything left in Massachusetts that's still active. But if this is non-hazardous, then it gives us a lot more opportunity to get rid of it. Not more options.
Anything else? Comments? No. Thank you very much.
All righty.
Just keep us posted on the progress.
Okay, and I'll get, which you guys wants to get the date, because I can relay the date
Send
over,
it-
or should I?
Send it to me and Diana.
Diana,
and,
okay.
We'll get it to
coordinate
David.
the
David,
transition.
okay, very good. Phones still work, I suppose, but, yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Now what do I do with my,
Do you need to, are you guys waiting for like an explanation?
what's that?
I don't have one.
Take a phone number.
Not allowed to have
Give
one.
a phone number.
What, so you got a negative determination, so that means you can
We're
go
doing
ahead and do
it.
what you want to do.
That's a
Yeah,
flip.
for someone to come out.
Oh,
Yeah, we may have two more trees further back.
you can send me an email, I'll forward it to John. He's off this week. He's our interim guy, he works in a different town. He comes to town on Fridays. Okay.
Do we need any like formal paperwork to show?
Yeah, this will get, a copy will get sent to you, but you don't have to file it anywhere, it's just for you.
Great, thank you.
All right. Where did my,
From Cohasset,
what's that?
have we heard from Cohasset Lake Association about their spraying?
Not in quite a
Ma'am.
while. No, haven't heard from them in quite a while.
Weren't they looking
The only thing I got from, no, that was Rock Hill Cemetery, never mind. I had nothing from, Rock Hill Cemetery, got permission to be a cemetery from DB. I don't
Oh,
know
really?
why, after all these years, but they showed up in the mail.
Would have been tough digging up all the bodies, huh?
They just can't put graves like too close to the water, I think was the gist of that message.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
David, while up until today, you were still a clerk, but you got the minutes from 4:29? Or have you
No.
reviewed it? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll forget that. Rich, you were out McKenzie Lane?
Yes, it looks like they went and put in a swing set for the kids. And when they did it, after they put the swing set in, all the water started collecting where the swing set was.
Oh, they went down, okay.
So yeah, it's their whole house is on a hill going down to
yeah.
it, yeah. But they had leveled it, and then they put some French drains in to try and run the water out, and that's what the hoses were connected to.
Okay,
So I told them they need to get rid of the hoses. And explained to them, subject to us all being okay with it, is that they need to try and divert the water through a zigzag situation or something, so it's not flowing straight down to the stream.
Okay,
They also did cut, and they were all pines, but they left the stumps in there, a number of trees that were within the 100. And I explained to them that they can't do that without coming permission. They said, well, Tree Tech did it, and we figured they got permission.
oh, okay,
That is something we send to the tree companies when they do the violations. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Tree Tech knows. Tree
Oh,
Tech
yeah.
of all of them knows.
yeah,
But we've stopped a number of other firms a couple of times. I know just down by my place.
yeah,
But it's really the tree companies that know and ignore the rules. But, so what I was proposing is to go back to them, confirm if the board's okay with it, that they get rid of that hose and try and do some sort of ladder with the watering.
okay,
And I made it clear to them that they can't cut any more trees without coming to
okay,
the tree check says they can or not.
very good, thank you.
All right?
Some conservation land updates. One thing at the Lane property, we're going to get the deck. It needs to be stained. I had Tony from Facilities go out and look at it. It needs to be sanded and then stained, and he has a company that will do that. It's nothing that any of us can do. It's more of a commercial procedure. So I'm not sure how we're going to work the money issue. Diana, you were talking to him.
So we can encumber, they can't do it before June 30th. So we can encumber this year's funds, so then we could use it after July 1st. They're gonna get me a proposal, and then we can encumber it,
Okay,
so it could be paid for. The cost would be $3,500. That's labor, materials. They use a commercial sander like you do your hardwood floors, and sand the whole thing. It would take like 3 days to, sand it, stain it, put down any nails for the boards that are coming up or whatever. But the big thing is you guys have to pick what color you want it to be.
so who's our color
Is it
experts?
not being restained? Like, was it a
I don't
color
think,
already?
I think it was
I don't
clear,
think,
if
I think it was
anything.
just installed. I don't think they stained
I
it
don't
when
know
they,
if they did
when
it.
they
It was
put it
pressure
in.
treated wood, was it? It's all pressure treated.
Yeah, it's pressure-treated wood.
So, what do we require? Never mind.
So when they sand it, it's gonna go back to whatever color it used to be.
Yeah,
So, they could put a clear stain, or they could put a dark stain, or they could put a painted stain, they could put whatever you want.
Well, the only thing with stains is you really gotta do them every 2 or 3 years, or they don't last on decks.
well, yeah,
Unless you get a opaque,
yeah.
you know.
I've had a solid stain last quite a while.
Yes, but it's got a color to it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Tan or something like that.
Yes, yeah. 'Cause
The deck's been up there like 8 years or something, it's been quite a while, hasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So it needs some TLC, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't want a dark stain because it's going to attract more heat, which it deteriorates and makes the wood splinter more.
But a tan,
Looks natural. Something
Yeah.
looks natural.
yeah,
Yeah, so some kind of naturalish color.
yeah. Another thing, the conservation sign that was in concern last time, the school department is going to replace that one, and Chris Gallagher is getting the highway department, I think, to do some more in between seasons. So, but just this one is going to be replaced very shortly.
Is this by Lakeville?
Yeah,
Yeah, the wood shop at the high school.
Oh, nice.
Gonna do it before the end of the school year.
It's great.
So while we're talking about Lakeview, a neighbor of mine commented that and I took a picture of it, looked at it today. The lock that they put in there looks great, but it's attached to a bolt that you can just unscrew with your hands. So it's not actually being effective in any way. So maybe we need to, it was a DPW that put that in. Maybe they
Okay.
need to reassess how they attach.
Well, okay. Well, I can go up there with a hammer and bang on the thread so it can't be unscrewed. So, that might be an easy option.
That's true.
And that's something that has to be coordinated with the state forester, because they use that road. That's their
That's
gate.
true.
Yeah,
Bob, I will send you the picture of it so you have an idea of what
okay,
you're looking at.
all right, thank you. I don't know what this, Diana, do you know what these ID cards, who?
Because John said something about getting you guys clothing, so when you go on site visits.
No, but how about the card? Does everyone have to get these?
Yeah, so that was the answer. Instead of getting clothing or hats or vests, everybody get a badge. And then if you
Oh.
go on a site visit, you'd have a badge. If anybody asks why you're wandering around the
Okay,
yard or whatever.
You know, that would be helpful. Yeah.
Can we get a lanyard to go with
So you have to go to the Board of Health.
it? Okay.
They make them. So,
Yeah.
contact them. I don't know if you could just go there whenever, or if they do it during
put your
certain
name
times,
in
or-
town of
But
Foxborough.
if everybody could make it a point, maybe on a Tuesday night, to go up there and, get
Is that when they're there?
an ID. Yeah, the town hall's open until 7 on Tuesday. I mean, if they're, if you're around in the daytime, you can go in the daytime, but I know they're open late on Tuesday nights.
Do they have a clip, or is it on the lanyard?
It's just,
I don't know. I mean, you could ask them. I imagine they can like put a hole in it so you can put it on a lanyard or something.
'Cause
yeah,
Put it in a little ID
I'm-
badge. I mean, I could order a
Yeah,
little
you wanna
ID
have it
badge, clip-on
exposed,
thing. I mean, whatever you guys
case.
want.
yeah.
That's laminated, right?
It's
It's plastic.
just
It's
plastic.
like a credit cardy kind of
Yeah.
thing. But what, Amazon makes all kinds of things, so whatever you guys want. Other random, land thing, Crack Rock Pond, somebody called and left me an anonymous message that there was lots of trash there. Is that
Yeah,
I cleaned that up the last time the lady called.
this was a guy.
This I think they're referring to, because I got a call. The area by the dam, you have to get in through, what is the water right there? Is that Cracker Rock?
Yeah.
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 So you gotta go in there, and there's just all amongst all the cat and nine tails and whatever over by the dam, I guess.
Oh, okay, because,
Not something you can walk to.
yeah, okay, this one I cleaned up was there at the deck. It was
Yes.
right there.
All those little nip bottles and.
Nip bottles and beer cans and all. And there's poison ivy in there, which I
Did you
got.
get it?
Oh, yeah.
Favorite.
Yeah. It was, it was before the vines started popping out and, yeah, it is.
It's there all year. You have to be
Yeah,
careful
it's
all
there.
year.
Yes, I know it.
A woman had called up and Jane had talked to her last year about having turtle crossing signs on Ridge Road, so I made inquiries to the DPW. And the DPW is not making those kind of signs. They're not making children playing signs. They're not making blind driveway signs. Basically, anything that's not required by federal law, they're not gonna make those signs anymore. So this lady is not getting her turtle crossing sign.
And the other thing is, up at the Lane property again, Carol, the gardener, we've been trying to get in contact with her to see what needs to be done, what has to be done. Jane has been working with her for a couple of years, but it's beyond my expertise.
There was one contract signed in 2020 for 2020. And since then, she was just working off of that same contract, I guess, so. She wanted to come back this year, but, with Jane being out, new town manager, we had to have a meeting about it, so I left it last Friday or Thursday. I asked her if she could send me, what needs to be done, what's been done, something, because there's nothing. They must have all been through email with Jane, and I don't have access to that, because I could only find the things from 2020 when they set this up, all the things they did then. I'm assuming it's just maintenance at this point, but I don't really know. I don't know if there was long-term plans for more planting areas or whatever. So, the volunteers at the Lane property are mad at me because I don't go up there, but again, that was Jane's thing. So if you guys ever want to go visit them, they're there every day from 10 to 4, I think, in various shifts. The fishing derby, they're getting additional porta potties, one at least, delivered on the 6th of June and picked up on the 10th of June. Chris Gallagher is going to take care of the gate, because apparently that's his job.
Okay.
Because that's the park department, park and tree, or something like that, under the DPW. The kayak storage rack, recreation, talked about it, they're moving forward, but it's gonna take a while. That lady had asked for an update, so, so I asked Heather, and she sent me to Renee, and they said that they all support it, but the logistics, they'll have to figure it out, like, who's gonna pay for it?
Okay.
And I got an email I sent to John last week, 9 Hallowell Road. Do you guys know all the H's, Hallowell, Harlow,
Yeah.
something like
It's
that?
Go for north, yeah.
Yeah.
off of North Street, yeah.
So these people bought 9 Hallowell Road last year, and they have a wet area in the backyard. The guy wants to know if it was a wetland. John's telling him it might be a jurisdictional wetland, but they got a new septic system. The people renovated the whole house. There was nothing through conservation, so now the realtor's involved, so I don't know where that's gonna go, but, John's working with them.
Okay, good. Anything else?
That's all I got. Well, there was a couple of people that volunteered to be volunteers. John said in his report he would kind of give them guidance on what to do.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get the quote friends going, and that would be something you can work with, Tanya, if we can. Thank you for that.
Another thing that could be of, maybe it's time, is the community preservation.
That's a town meeting thing, would have to be
Right,
done.
that's town meeting thing.
Yeah,
But working towards maybe trying to get it on the next town meeting.
Community what?
Community Preservation Act. Is that
CPA?
Tax,
Yeah.
yeah,
We tried it a few years ago and the town wasn't interested.
yeah, went down in glorious defeat. So, I don't know. See how the
Since they
new
just did
town
those
manager thinks about it.
It was a fun meeting.
Well, we're missing out on a lot of funds for 4 different things: historical, recreation, conservation, and affordable housing.
Mm-hmm, yep,
And it's usually a committee that makes the decisions on recommending, how much of the funds go to those 4 specific entities or departments that oversee it. And,
try to get it through town meeting is the,
yeah, it could be.
Make a motion, close the meeting, for all set.
I'll second it.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Thank you.